The internet's most hated furry influencer.
Anthropomorphic animals is a perplexing concept of its own. However, most of these people are ultimately harmless weirdos exploring their passion. But paired with the small yet prominent amount of unhinged psychos and degenerates that inhabit the space, the furry community has taken up a much more unsavory identity from some outside spectators. One such individual is Blue Folf, a controversial furry influencer with a history of drama, some self-inflicted, and some simply brought onto them by malicious actors. Today, we'll explore Blue's history to try and understand why they seemingly can't stop getting into drama. Blue Folf first discovered the furry community in early 2017 at the age of just 12 while browsing YouTube videos featuring
My buff hot cosplay?
During Five Nights at Freddy's cosplays, he stumbled across the age of just 12 while browsing YouTube videos featuring Five Nights at Freddy's cosplays.
I guess that would get
he stumbled across a video of
Yeah.
a fursuit wedding. Blue was intrigued by this and instantly became enamored with furries, deciding that he wanted to be a part of the community as well. This event is documented in a journal entry from February 23rd, 2017. Recently, I have joined the furry community and I love it so much. I decided to keep this journal to track my money to turn my fursona into a fursuit. Now my parents, I don't know if they approve of furries and will take everything I've worked for, everything I care about, furries. In May of that same year, Blue would join furry adjacent forums like Discord and Twitter with the hopes of making new friends. His first fursona was initially a Dutch angel dragon named Shamrock, which was eventually changed to his now well-known fursona, a fox-wolf hybrid named Blue. This coincided with multiple online aliases including Wolfie Blue, Bluteus Poppius, Blue Pop, and many other variations of the same wording. By mid-2019, a little over 2 years after becoming a furry, Blue would already find himself at the center of multiple call-out posts and drama. An ex-boyfriend of Blue's named Laszlo,
Telling you guys straight up, don't try to be friends with and or follow Blue Folf. He's only going to hurt you, man. He uses people just to boost his popularity.
would publicly expose his habitual cheating, claiming that he was a manipulative liar who used people for fame and popularity. Another call-out post, created by @CreamsiclePup on Twitter, would claim that Blue had been sharing and receiving explicit images with adults,
Tweeting about this because he's a 16-year-old who posts his own nudes, and not only that, but solicits them from others. He tricks people into believing how old he is to get nudes out of them. If you see this person, beware.
in a not safe for work Discord server, under the false pretense that he was above the age of consent. When moderation staff discovered this, he was promptly banned from the server. CreamsiclePup would later make a second thread accusing Blue of commissioning not safe for work scat fetish art from an adult artist named Larios. This was something Blue would eventually confirm to enjoy in real life and was not just an aspect of fantasy or fictional roleplay.
See, this is why you guys won't beat the allegations. It's people like this.
Confirmed to enjoy in real life and was not just an aspect of fantasy or fictional roleplay. I guess he really took the the poop maxing seriously. While
Allegedly, by the way. I didn't say Ice Spice actually likes that. It was alleged.
commissioning scat art is certainly degenerate and disgusting, that was not the main issue, as Blue is under the age of consent and distribution of these images to minors is potentially illegal depending on your location, not to mention just wrong, something the adult artists seem to not care about too much. As if this habitual lying and dishonest behavior wasn't enough, Blue would notably claim to be 16 and 17 at the time of these events when he was actually only 14. He would notably claim to be 16 and 17 at the time of these events when he was actually only 14 years old. It is important to note, of course, that Blue was a minor, and as a result, holding him responsible for these actions is much less important than holding the adults who didn't properly verify his age responsible for their part. Realistically, to hold this against him in the current day would be vindictive and wrong, but it is concerning that someone as young as him had interest in these bizarre fetishes. It's not typical that 14-year-olds are already so far into not safe for work material that they like.
Not really. Like when you're in your teens, you're the horniest nigga known to men. That's not weird at all.
Scat. It's likely that the people Blue was around online had a very negative influence on his behavior. But this isn't to say that these events were viewed favorably, even with those caveats. Furries in the community became disillusioned with Blue, noticing his habit of lying about his age and believing him to be a risk to those around him. Boys and girls, it's time to take the Aura pill. Did you know that over 2.9 billion records were hacked from national public data, which offers personal information on hacker and focus hacker telling your you. So now Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura can easily and quickly data break of annoying with parental more sensitive information, fraud alerts, colors, and identity. Amazing benefits are all at one.com/turkeytom to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your data has been compromised. Blue eventually would be involved in another call-out post, but this time as the creator. He would attempt to draw attention to the owner of the Furry Valley Discord server named Simba. Simba supposedly had hired people to dox Blue's friends for reasons that are never directly stated. This call-out would result in Simba threatening to dox Blue himself, prompting a second call-out post where he links to Simba's Kiwi Farms thread. However, due to Blue's reputation, many people did not take this call-out seriously. Multiple comments on this post highlight Blue's tendency to be involved in drama, demonstrating the negative reputation Blue had earned himself. Despite his poor public image, Blue still managed to garner himself a substantial following on Twitter thanks to his furry-adjacent shitposting. Most of his tweets typically centered around being a furry,
POV, you're under 5'9". Imagine
being extremely
5'9".
gay, or being a furry who's also extremely gay.
I think I'm too much of a gay furry.
These posts would get tons of likes, comments, and retweets from other like-minded furries who found his posting humorous.
Why is that funny? I think I'm too much of a gay furry. Why is that hilarious to me?
Around being a furry, being extremely gay, or
I'm feeling really gay today. Ooh, ooh. Retweet this if you have the big gay. I am I the only person who finds it super strange when people like build their whole life around their sexuality, like identify with it to this extent? Am I the only, like, imagine even just being a straight male and just be like, your whole life is your whole identity is being straight, just being a straight dude. It's weird. It's weird. It's like
a furry who's also extremely gay. These posts would get tons of likes, comments, and retweets from other like-minded furries who found his shitposting humorous and endearing. He would even reach a point of prominence where people would create fan art of his fursona, which truly demonstrated the admiration he had garnered from his presence in the community. With his status online, he would eventually begin uploading to YouTube. While his uploads were inconsistent and sporadic, they do help give a glimpse as to what Blue was like in his early years as an online figure. In the oldest remaining video on his channel, Blue promotes his Minecraft server and discusses future plans.
I am going to be starting releasing weekly videos once more. Gaming
Minecraft never beating the allegations.
videos, story videos, and maybe in the future when I get my suit, some fursuit videos. So I'm very excited for that as well.
While it seems like a good chunk of videos have been deleted, some archived content still remains, such as videos where he roasts his followers' Twitter fursonas.
So first up, we have Bolty. You probably stink because you're green.
Others show him simply having fun playing Minecraft with his friends, reviewing furry memes, or thanking his followers for their support. Not much would happen for the next few years, as Blue managed to stay out of drama and continued to grow his online presence, reaching 14,000 followers in June of 2020. And in July, Blue would finally receive the head of his fursuit, which he would unbox live on stream. By August of 2021, Blue had surpassed the 25,000 follower milestone, and would finally come out as gay to his mother. A month later, in September, he would then come out to both of his parents as a trans woman, changing his name from Caden to Jade. While Blue's mother was understanding and supportive, their father was less than thrilled.
As soon as he's 18, he's out of the house. F you, dad. F you, F you, F you.
About it. The culmination of her poor grades in school, as well as her furry lifestyle, paired together with this recent revelation, pushed her father over the edge.
My dad threatened to kick me out last Friday. He said stuff about it again this past week, like every day. It's because of my lifestyle and because my grades and just everything. Like, I was having a mental breakdown the other day, and it just made him even madder. While I was having my mental breakdown, he was just like, I don't want you in the house anymore. And it's just such a mess right now. He doesn't even talk to me anymore.
Luckily for Blue, her mother was supportive of her lifestyle, both as a trans woman and as a furry. So supportive, in fact, that she would create her own furry Twitter account to interact with her daughter. This was short-lived, however, as someone eventually created not safe for work art of their fursonas having sex, resulting in her mother abandoning the account forever. Blue's father, on the other hand, was still frustrated with the situation, supposedly making a post on Quora seeking advice on how to handle this dilemma. As it persisted, her father's disapproval would begin to take a serious toll on Blue's mental health. I keep having panic attacks so much, I constantly feel like everyone hates me and I'm about to explode. Because if I say anything, my mom will know, and everyone will say I'm just being that way for clout. What happened to me? I ruined everything. The final straw for Blue's father would be her attendance at the 2022 Furry Weekend in Atlanta.
I feel like you're having too many personal issues to be talking about this on the internet, right? Like, why do people not realize this? Like, and I feel like they do. They just don't know where else to turn, maybe?
Her first convention since would be her attendance at the 2022 Furry Weekend in Atlanta, which was her first convention since joining the fandom. Despite her mother's well wishes, her father was adamantly against it, believing that furries were sexual deviants and it was an immoral lifestyle. This resulted in her father cutting her off financially, cutting her cell phone service, blocking her phone from accessing the internet, and taking away her car. His reasoning for this was that supporting Blue financially was supporting her deviant behavior. With nowhere else to turn, and with the help of her partner, Dakota, a GoFundMe was set up to assist Blue with moving out and paying bills. This GoFundMe would receive 62 donations and reach its $1,500 goal in only 2 days.
Wow.
After moving in with a friend, Blue would be forced to move back in temporarily with her parents, likely due to not having a job and running out of the GoFundMe money. This rarely stopped transitioning due to not being able to afford her medications. Despite her father's disapproval, it seemed he was still willing to let her stay at the house even after turning 18. In a text message publicly shared by Blue, her father expresses pity for her, saying, "It is your decision to live your life how you want to, but I don't have to agree or approve of it. I feel sorry for you, because the path you're choosing is hard and lonely." But things for Blue began looking up as she reached 45,000 followers on Twitter and earned herself a job working for Domino's as a delivery driver. She announced this alongside a photo of her with a coworker who also identified as a furry. This was short-lived, however, as detractors of Blue would supposedly email pictures of her leaked nudes to Domino's,
The fact that transphobes hate me so much they tried to get me fired by sending leaked nudes to Domino's is an achievement. LMAO. How can you possibly set the internet off this much that they hate you, dog? What? What did you do? What did you do to people want to leak you that much, like your EDP? What's going on?
As detractors of Blue would supposedly email pictures of her leaked nudes to Domino's, resulting in her being fired. These nudes were allegedly obtained by an A-log named Jericho, who possibly collected them through direct messages or her private not safe for work Twitter. For those unfamiliar, the term A-log spawned from Anthony Logato, who became infamous amongst Chris Chan historians for his over-the-top and extreme criticisms of the well-known lolcow Chris Chan. Essentially, an A-log is a troll or detractor who goes to extreme measures to provoke or criticize a lolcow, typically expressing an unnecessary disdain or hatred for those they target. These people also share many similarities to the lolcows they despise, believing that they are superior despite sharing those same shortcomings. All of these traits reflects the behavior of the original A-log. Thus, many believe that some of Blue's A-logs shared many similarities to her, being gay or trans furries themselves, who felt that she gave the furry community as well as transgender people a bad reputation. This allegedly compelled Jericho to do what they did, and would compel future A-logs to harass and eventually dox Blue. Something also worth mentioning is a call-out thread posted in late December of 2022, where Blue alleged that in 2020, she was groomed by a local furry who went by the alias Rascarge Redfin, both online and in person. According to the story, Blue was 15 at the time, while Rascar was 29. Allegedly, after meeting up in person with some mutual friends, they began flirting over text messages. This flirting soon became in real-life cuddling, before evolving into a full-on sexual relationship where Blue would sneak out of the house and the adult would even sneak into Blue's parents' basement to have sex with him. Blue states that she had recently had a revelation regarding all of this and that she was finally able to move on. Blue's history.
Again, why do we need to hear about this, dog? Why are you not talking to your parents?
States that she had recently had a revelation regarding all of this and that she was finally able to move on. Blue's history of online conflict and her recent falling out with her father not only earned her the attention of A-logs, but would also garner the attention of online users on the infamous drama site Kiwi Farms, where a thread was posted documenting many of the same events discussed thus far. In February of 2023, Blue would acknowledge this in a video uploaded to Twitter, where she seemed to take it on the chin and laugh it off.
So, I got dogs, but like, I've just gotten to the point where I've had to go through so much stuff online that I don't care anymore. So I'm just kind of vibing. And
despite claiming that the trolls couldn't get to her, this didn't seem to entirely be the case, as shortly after, she would wipe nearly 100,000 tweets from her account and unfollow nearly 5,000 people. Regardless of her supposed mindfulness, Blue's next encounter with trolls would prove to be something that she couldn't ignore. On February 11th, 2023, a 16-year-old trans girl named Brianna Gray was murdered by two fellow students in what was determined to be a premeditated hate crime. This story would garner a large amount of notoriety, specifically in the online trans community, as many felt it was a reflection of the unwelcoming social climate that trans people are forced to endure. But that's not to say everyone felt sympathy for the situation. Valid Els is a now suspended anti-trans gimmick account that sought to mock, harass, and even dox transgender individuals online, something that the now deceased Brianna Gay would not be. Post announcing the passing of the 16-year-old girl, Valid Els would respond with a cigarette emoji. Instead of expressing sympathy for the murder, Valid Els chose to mock the entire thing, which obviously upset a lot of people. On top of this, they would also post an image of a gravestone marked with Brianna's birth name
Imagine the nigga behind this account. He's hating on these people so much, but I'm just imagining what he's like. What is he, a 30-year-old man sitting in his basement, jerking his meat every night?
Birth name and labeling her as a casualty
So
of
dumb.
cultural
It's probably
enrichment.
the dumbest
Blue
shit I
would
ever
find this
seen.
behavior disgusting, publicly criticizing them and calling for their deplatforming. But this public call-out would not sit well with Valid Ls, who would set their sights on Blue Folf as their next target. They would soon post screenshots of Blue allegedly grooming a minor by initiating roleplay on Discord. With allegations of this nature, obviously people were very angry at the idea that Blue had victimized someone under the age of consent. And as a result, some more passionate individuals would take
That's okay. They're always the first time. How old are you? I'm 14 now. Is that all right? Oh, you're getting into this young? Mind if I... All right, buddy. You're cooked.
matters into their own hands. Some would even go as far as to track down and contact Blue's estranged father, informing him of these
I
screenshots.
just received the following text. You're an adult. Stop it or you're going to end up in jail. My name is Eli. Your son was talking to a minor and grooming them.
I was grooming minors or whatever. It was a fake screenshot. There's tons of proof.
Was it?
Here. It's been confirmed by the chat itself that they're just doing it to f me.
Despite the inauthentic nature of these messages, many had already
Okay.
made up their minds in
Okay,
regards to Blue,
okay.
as they would continue to harass her over the coming days. Luckily, there were also a large number of people who had her back, and were more specifically fed up with the Valid L. Luckily, there were also a large number of people who had her back, and were more specifically fed up with the Valid L's Twitter page and their antics. With all of this support, Blue began to feel she had a valid case for a
Imagine how the father feels. Imagine feeling like this. Your own child who you raise is grooming kids. Imagine thinking where you went wrong. Right now, it's something to cry over.
Valid L's Twitter page and their antics. With all of this support, Blue began to feel she had a valid case for a defamation lawsuit, and so she started a GoFundMe to help her pay for
It's pointless. Don't
legal
waste your
costs
time.
and hire
Don't
a
waste
lawyer,
your fucking
where she would
time.
raise over $8,000 from
Why are... Yo, hold on. Should I start a GoFundMe? Because folks just throwing money at you, son. What, like, is it like this? For every little problem in your life, it's let me raise money?
GoFundMe to help her pay for legal costs and hire a lawyer, where she would raise over $8,000 from nearly 300 backers. While on the surface, it may seem like she had a strong case considering the faked messages, considering the actual terms to qualify defamation, it seems like a battle she was destined to lose. For starters, the Valid L's Twitter account was run by an anonymous individual whose identity was necessary to take this to court. Blue fortunately had the option to subpoena Twitter to release the information of the Valid L's administrator. If a United
Oh, wow.
States court informs Twitter that the information of a certain user is necessary to continue with legal proceedings, Twitter is obligated to supply them with that information. However,
doubt it,
this
though.
opens up a John Doe lawsuit, which is used to determine the identity of anonymous or fake online profiles. This process comes with a long list of potential complications. On top of this, successfully suing someone for defamation is no simple feat. Zoophile, which is a person with a sexual attraction towards animals. She would eventually call on YouTube themselves to intervene, claiming that Rubin was targeting innocent people and using his fanbase to harass them. Hundreds of Rubin Sim fans have sent me death threats, gore, doxed my address, even sent phone calls to my family members since I made posts about them. He's done nothing to stop it, and if anything, he's encouraging it. Rubin would eventually respond to this claim, stating, "As someone who's constantly being sent doxing and swatting and harassment threats by furries, I understand how serious this stuff is. I condemn anyone that does this, especially those who claim to be my fans. Furries should do the same." Shortly after this, Blue would reveal that her Twitter profile was taken down with a false DMCA and would accuse Rubin Sim and his community of
Shit,
being
get out of control. They're not trying to get my account taken down by wrongfully copyright striking my own character.
responsible. However, it was later revealed that the A-log Casey was responsible. Eventually, the DMCA claim was rejected, and Blue's profile picture was restored. Blue had stated in May of 2023 that she was done with drama for good. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the last internet kerfuffle she was involved in. In November of 2022, a Twitter user by the name of IceFoxWorks, otherwise known as Crossy, would announce their new soda brand called Fursodas, with the help of their business partner, Blue Folf. Fursodas aimed to make furry-themed LGBT sodas for gay furries, I guess. And for the low price of just $90, you could buy yourself one whole bottle of soda. Not
One bottle, $90. I better be able to fly.
price of just $90, you could buy yourself one whole bottle of soda, not to mention a free sticker. Talk about value. With their extremely niche target demographic and ridiculously upcharged sugar water, it's easy to see that this wasn't the most bulletproof business model, but any chance it may have had to succeed was crushed with the help of Blue. Apparently, Blue had not been pulling her weight with the company, as in messages sent as early as February of 2023.
Like I said, I would rather donate to my church.
Not this model, but any chance it may have had to succeed was crushed with the help of Blue. Apparently, Blue had not been pulling her weight with the company, as in messages sent as early as February of 2023, Crossy had already voiced her concerns with the lack of effort, stating, "I think we do need to discuss your part in the company and how you see yourself in it. Right now, I'll admit it's a little bit frustrating how things currently stand. It's frustrating to essentially be running the business by myself, but still be expected to run things by you and have people contact you that I never get told about or that get brought up to me. Not to mention, I barely get recognized as being one of the owners of the company despite running the entire thing. It's very hard to get answers from you about things, and sometimes a lot of these decisions I can't wait every few days to talk about. Half the time, you don't even really acknowledge some of the things I ask or say. I know that could be from work or school or anything else, but it isn't easy to run a business as a partnership without the ability to communicate. On top of that, it's really difficult to get you to help even with the smaller and simpler things that need to be done, like just linking me to artists that you mentioned reached out to you, or retweeting and promoting the company. Even just asking for help getting supplies and stuff is difficult, and if we're going to succeed, then I need you to help me do those specific things. I think what adds to that frustration is that I know you can do some of these things. You're on Twitter pretty often, and from what I understand, you're in the process of buying a fursuit, so I know you can help me with supplies, and I know you can promote more than you do. It's just upsetting that for some reason, you're not. I definitely don't know your financial situation, and I'm in no way entitled to your spending habits and decisions, but I do feel like it's a bit unfair to be investing in a fursuit while your business partner is actively funding the business out of their own pocket. While she seems to acknowledge these concerns at the time, issues relating to Blue's involvement in the company would persist over the next year. In March of 2024, Crossy would voice her concerns with the overwhelming debt she was carrying. Blue Folf's lack of involvement forced Crossy to take on all the expenses required to keep the company afloat, putting her over $6,500 in debt and destroying her credit. Both messages sent to Blue would be read and ignored. Crossy would put her foot down, stating as a final warning, "At this point, you have got to start helping me pay this off. Your half of the expenses over a year was $4,000. You need to find some way to pay that. If you can, or shoot."
That's the thing, Crossy. You should have known one thing about Blue. She's only had one job this whole time. 32 minutes into the video, Crossy, she's had one job, bro. She does not know anything about making money, right? She doesn't even know about customer service, right? She didn't survive at Domino's for very long. This is the time when you got to go fund me. This is that time. This is that time.
Expenses over a year was $4,000. You need to find some way to pay that. If you can, or choose not to, I really don't want to go public with all of this, or take legal action, but I'm going to have to do so. I can't survive. My family cannot survive, while we're having to pay all of this off. Blue supposedly responded to this message, telling Crossy that she would take care of the situation. However, as Crossy tried to follow up with her, she would be left on red once again. With her hands tied, Crossy had no other option than to make a public spectacle out of the entire thing. On May 4th of 2024, Crossy revealed the situation publicly, exposing how Blue had essentially destroyed the company. Around December of 2022, I had started working with Blue Folf about a company we were trying to start up. I had originally planned to do this on my own, but we both had the idea and agreed to work together on it. I planned for this venture to start up officially with a 3-year business plan that included the path to getting a physical location. Unfortunately, Blue started advertising, doing raffles, bringing in team members and a task force to spearhead the project way ahead of its reasonably projected start date. There was no way to keep up, and due to all of it being extremely public, I had to keep up with everything. For the entire 9 or so months that Blue and I worked together, I was stuck doing every single thing regarding the business and paying Blue's portion of the expenses because she wasn't able to. It's notable to explain she was going to many cons during this time, leaving me to pay her side of things until eventually in September 2023, I told her she was being ousted from the company. Unfortunately, it left me with an $8,000 debt from having to charge her expenses on a business card for almost a year. Around September 2023, I started to receive a lot of targeted harassment. I was working on Fursodas and was primarily handling all the business things on my own, and for the most part, she was completely uninvolved with the company. September 2023, she got into a bunch of trouble. She was the target of a massive anti-trans campaign, and because she associated herself with Fursodas, I was thrown into the mix. They targeted me, my family, my job, my clients, everything. I had people creating false police reports against me and making fake emails to make it look like I was going to harm people. They had my face and my address posted online in multiple locations, and my phone number was leaked. Everything was really bad around that time. People rallied in support for Casey, feeling as though what Blue had done was negligent and cruel. While the guilt of putting someone $6,000 in debt might not have been enough to warrant the response, the risk of further soiling her reputation was enough for Blue.
See, now this, chat, I can see the GoFundMe for this. Word? This makes sense. It's like, dog, I'm down bad right now. My whole family is in debt. I feel like I was a bit screwed over, bro. Can you guys help me in any way?
Might not have been enough to warrant the response. The risk of further soiling her reputation was enough for Blue to finally decide to make things right. I'm working on getting the money together for them. I wouldn't back down on my promises like that, especially for a friend like Crossy. It's on me. I'm sorry for taking so long, and I'm sorry things turned out the way they did with the company. Blue would empty their bank account in full, sending the $430 they had, while also promising to pay $1,000 per month until the debt was paid off. Blue also expressed deep remorse for the situation, claiming, "I really wish I could go back and be more responsible with this whole thing. It ended up hurting you financially." This statement is odd, as Blue was made well aware of Crossy's finances and completely ignored it. It wasn't until she was publicly called out that she felt guilt and wanted to make the situation right. If she really cared, none of this would have happened in the first place. This sentiment is echoed by numerous responses to Blue, feeling as though she would have simply let the situation die if Crossy hadn't pushed the issue. And as a result, Blue would begin to consistently bleed followers.
It's like you're trying to protect your image. Exactly. That's it. Went public. Yeah, bro, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, mama.
If Crossy hadn't pushed the issue. And as a result, Blue would begin to consistently bleed followers for the foreseeable future. Recently, Blue took a photo with her friends in which they comically flip off a Chick-fil-A sign in their fursuits. Someone who was aware of Blue's past decided to quote retweet this image, saying, "I just want you guys to know that the one with the blue fursuit head ate their own And it appears, due to the heavy amount of attention this tweet got, Blue deactivated their account. In one final message posted by Blue, she says, "I can't go on anymore. I can't keep doing this. I'm so unhappy with my life and just the way everything turned out. I'm tired of being sick and having constant health issues. I'm tired of the fake people in my life pretending to care about me for years, only to drop me when I actually am struggling. I'm so tired of people making things up about me that literally aren't even true. My life is ruined and no one cares. It's so exhausting, and my dysphoria is getting worse and worse, and I feel so alone. The mistakes I've made, just everything. I only wanted to make people happy at the end of the day, and I failed. I'm sorry. I just can't keep doing this. Please don't blame yourself. Goodbye. I love you all so much." In her final tweet before deactivating, she states her intentions to end her own life. Thankfully, it seems that any attempts she might have made were unsuccessful. On September 21st, she returned to her Blue Folf Twitter account with a long thread detailing the events of the past few weeks. According to Blue, she did indeed attempt to take her own life, but failed. Her reasoning for attempting was the overwhelming amount of harassment she endured in her time as a public figure, with the Chick-fil-A quote tweet being the final straw. Due to the post's virality, discourse about Blue's past was reignited, with many repeating unproven or fabricated stories about her. And so, she felt compelled to address these rumors and clear the air. She states that she did not intentionally scam Crossy, rather that she was extremely negligent in managing her role in Fursodas. While Blue fails to mention the scale of the debt or the damage to Crossy's credit score, she does try to take responsibility, praises Crossy's character, and wishes them well. She also addresses a rumor that she faked liver cancer, stating that she was diagnosed with fatty liver disease in July. While it seems that Blue never directly claimed to have liver cancer, her Telegram bio at one point stated that she was dying from liver failure. She states this is because her doctor told her she might have liver failure, which made her feel freaked out. Boogie2988 moment based. Blue then confesses to her scat fetish and seemingly confirms that the infamous plate video was actually her, stating,
"I do have a fetish. However, that is something that is literally something that is extremely private to me. The fact people are leaking something so embarrassing to try and ruin my reputation is just so awful. But you were in a whole Telegram group. How private is that? Right? That's not private. Private is paying guards to stay at the door while you have 1,000 baby oil bottles and no one's allowed to be let in. That's private."
The facts
Like, what are you talking about?
people are leaking something so embarrassing to try and ruin my reputation is just so awful. From what I can tell, Blue never admitted to being responsible for the video up until this point, which explains why many defenders of Blue questioned if the video was actually of her. She also states that she's never eaten which seems to be the case as there is no direct proof of it. Lastly, she clarifies the doctored screenshots of her grooming a minor are not real and were posted by the Validels account in an attempt to ruin her reputation. To close the thread, she states, "I'm sure you're all tired of hearing about this. I'm exhausted and tired. I'm 20, and I know I've made a lot of mistakes, but please just give me a chance to grow instead of endlessly bashing me. I hope this thread was able to clear some things up." Blue has since moved out of Georgia and will likely be continuing their life as an online figure. Typically, when furry figures fall into controversy, it's for truly heinous and despicable things relating to the abuse of animals or children. But Blue Folf is a very unique case, as a majority of their controversies don't even stem from any particularly immoral behavior, but rather a series of unfortunate events, some due to no fault of their own, and others due to incompetence or some general dishonesty. Blue Folf is ultimately a cautionary tale of the dangers of online attention, especially within virtual spaces like the furry community. While they may have tarnished their online reputation beyond repair, it's not impossible for their real life to come back to some sense of normalcy.
Great fucking video, Turkey Tom. Like,